The show can't start until we crack open a bottle of Revelton. Whether it's their crisp, clean vodka, the bold spice of their rye whiskey, the rich smoothness of bourbon, or the original honey whiskey that started it all, every pour is a taste of craft and passion straight from the heart of Iowa. So pour yourself a drink, settle in, and get ready to relax, laugh, and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Red and gold on the edge of the sky, feel the rumble, hear the battle cry. Out in Ames where the storms ignite, we don't back down, we rise and fight. Jack Tristate's name, yeah, it echoes strong. A story of honor still marches on. Through the rain, through the pain, through the fire we roar, 'cause we were built to thrive in the eye of the storm. Feel the ground shake, hear the crowd roar. Cyclone power, can't take no more. Legends rise, this is our norm. We stand tall in the sigh of the storm. There's a cyclone blowing on the outskirts tonight. Jack Trice shakes when the team takes flight. Milton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall. Feel the magic you can't deny. Marcus Sparks are taking off straight to the sky. Brick, big play, Kirby making history. When the moment gets tough, that's a cyclone way. Through the trenches, through the lane, through the heat, through the rain. When the storm comes rolling, we embrace the fight. 'Cause the cyclones strike when the time is right. Feel the cyclones strike when the time.
All right, welcome back to In the Side of the Storm, where we talk all things Cyclones. We are live from the AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs and sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company out of Osceola, Iowa, and styled by JJ Boutique in Johnston. I'm Dave Larson here with my Storm Team partner and Cyclone great, the legend Marcus Pfizer. Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing well. We're missing Snooky's bodyguard, Mr. Yellow Pants himself, who is not able to make us. But the two of us are back, and it's nice. We had the little road show last week. We took the AKC Marketing Studio on the road and had some fun at game day at Merle Hay Mall. That place is a lot of fun, Marcus. If you get back and have a chance to go there, it's great arcade. Games, restaurant, bar, tons of televisions. They have up on the wall, large televisions and monitors up on the wall as well. So a lot of fun out there. We had our pregame before the game with the 1858 fan club, a bunch of Cyclones, and they were playing the fight song in between scores. And every time the Cyclones got a first down, it was the old, "That's another Cyclone first down," just like you're sitting in the stadium. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to that mall. Brought back a lot of memories.
I've been to that mall, and I live in the area.
It brought back a lot of memories when just seeing you guys there and just saying the name and talking about it. So yeah, once I get back, I definitely look forward to spending some time down there. Just old memory lane about being a college student there and a student athlete, and just getting ready for the NBA draft and spending time in the mall before I left.
Well, and the irony is that day it was cold, rainy here. I'm so glad we didn't have a home game, because that would have been just miserable sitting in Jack Trice Stadium. Although the Cyclones did come out with a win. Now I want to, maybe before we jump into the football, I want to talk basketball. I got back today. I was up at the women's basketball game, and they had a chance to play. Well, first they played on Wednesday night against Valparaiso, and none other than Audie Crooks had a career high day. Audie had 43 points, not only an Audie Crooks career high record, but a school record for the Iowa State women, 43. And she did that in just just 20 minutes of play. So a remarkable game by Audi. Cyclones won 97-50. And then today we played against Norfolk State out of the MEAC conference.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of fun to watch. You know, we've sort of talked before about triple double and the opportunity for a triple double. Last year at Kansas, Addie Brown was 1 rebound short. Coach Fennelly took her out. I don't think he realized that she was that close to her first triple double, something that she has professed that she really has wanted to do. And today she did it.
Big time. Big
11
time.
points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. And you have a goose egg there, Marcus, that you commented on.
Yeah, I said she kind of sucks. She has no steals in the game. But that's unbelievable. I mean, you know, as a baller and a hooper, everyone wants to, you know, get a triple double. We've seen some quadruple doubles, you know, in pro sports and things of that nature. But to even think about that, I think Wemby is going to be able to put up numbers like that with the Spurs, especially, you know, he can get triple doubles easily. So he's definitely capable of getting blocks as well. So I look forward to seeing him doing some things like that. But to be able to do that in, you know, in the collegiate range and things, it's tremendous for sure. And, you know, we're very proud of her.
Now, Wimby, did you see that dunk over Draymond Green over the weekend? It might have been
Yes.
Friday night. Whoa.
I mean, the guy's 7'5", so there's nothing you really can do too much about that. You know, hats off to Draymond for being, you know, 6'6", 6'7", trying to defend something of that caliber. But
He tried.
you know,
he really did try.
When it gets to being that kind of a disadvantage, you just got to take the bitter with the sweet. It's like Steph shooting them from half quarter from the logo. If it goes in, it goes in.
So Addie is just the 4th women's basketball player to achieve the triple double. Nikki Moody was the last to do it in 2014. I did find the very first woman, Jane Baller Lobenstein, who played in the early to mid 80s, was the first. And then sandwiched between her and Nikki Moody in 2014 was Allison Lacey, none other than Coach TJ's wife, is the other Cyclone basketball player to hit that mark. So.
Do you know how many the men has had? I know Jamal Tinsley had.
You know, I Googled it. I'm not sure if it's ChatGPT or Copilot, but I put in a request and they told me Monte Morris was one. I'd have to go back and verify that. But they said Monte Morris was a woman. So for what that's worth, I can't trust it unless I go in and verify it. So I have not gone to look at the men, but I'm sure that we've got a listener or two or a viewer that might be able to pop in with that. So, you know, the irony is before tonight's game, Addie was recognized for scoring her 1,000th Iowa State point before the game. So that was kind of cool to be able to recognize. I would hope that her family was up here for the game to be able to see her hit the triple double. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, to get that 1,000 point, to be a part of that club is something, another thing that, you know, Hoopers strive for. And like I said, we're very proud of her.
And of course, Audie Crooks coming off of that 43-point game. She had another double-double today, 19 and 10, with a perfect 8 for 8 from the floor.
Nice.
And then her backup, Elisa Williams, a transfer from LSU. She only played 14 minutes, but she had her first double-double with 10 rebounds and 12. It's 10 points and 12 rebounds in that 14 minutes of play. So it's been fun watching her. And then Jada Williams, the other transfer, new this year, in her first year with the Cyclones, had her first double-double. So a lot of points, a lot of scoring, a lot of double-doubles. And the team as a whole had 30 assists on the day on 31 field goals. So this team is really playing at a high level right now.
Yeah, really moving the ball, sharing the ball with each other, scoring points, getting rebounds, you know, things of that nature. I'm sure the coaching staff is you know, very overjoyed about what they've been showing the last couple of games. We know it's early on in the season. We know it's definitely not Big 12 caliber, but you know, it's definitely the start of the season that we want to see.
And the women hit 67 points again. So whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
Crowds are, you see it on social media now. Everybody goes nuts every time that a team hits 67.
I don't know if it's the crowd or it's the kids in the crowd, but it's definitely infectious now. Like my 10-year-old daughter even says it all the time around the house, and I just shake my head and just keep walking past her.
Now, I know that injuries happen. We've seen it
Mhm.
certainly in the football team. We've seen it in years past with men's basketball. Injuries are part of the game. It sucks when it happens, but the
Right.
way that this team is playing, the way that the men are playing too, I, I think the parts are there. And I know it's very early. The women have only played 5 games. I think the men 3. I think this is a potential Final Four team. Am I nuts for thinking that? I know we haven't really played a lot of tough teams. Those are coming down the pipe, but boy, they have a certain moxie to them. You know, you look at I've talked before about Jada Williams. She comes in, she just brings another level of athleticism. Her eyes are constantly up. She's defensively, she's just in your face and just quickness to her. And then I would not want to meet Addie Brown, who we've talked about how tough she is,
Mhm.
Jada, and then freshman Reese Beatty in an alley somewhere because they carry themselves with just a certain level of toughness, and it comes out on the court. We've got Elisa Williams now playing with some aggression, playing a little bit more physical off the bench. There's just they've got shooters around them now that when they're scoring, this is going to be a very tough team to play.
Yeah, it's just a testament to what Coach Bill brings to the program. Like I've said, many times in the past, I never played for the women's team at Iowa State, but he definitely had an influence, and they definitely had an influence on me. In terms of the work ethic that I wanted to put on to the court, because they were so good. So I wanted to match their energy, I wanted to match their success, and that's something that I thought about each and every time that I stepped on the floor, that we were able to get on the floor, opposite of them. So we expect that now. We understand the level of camaraderie that we have, and the program has been elevated over the most recent years, and it's an enjoyable time to be a Cyclone.
Well, again, I know it's way early. Remember last season, the women just and the men had really tough preseason schedules. The women played 3 of the 4 Final Four teams from the prior year. This year, the schedule is a little bit more forgiving, but it seems like it's giving this team a little bit more time to gel and come together and kind of figure things out. And boy, when you see Audie Crick score 43 points at will, and then you see the shooters do what they do, and just a little bit of a stronger defense this year. I
Mhm.
really like this team a lot.
Well, I think they felt like they kind of underachieved a little bit last year. The aspirations that we had was a little bit higher, and then it didn't work out so much the way that we hoped for it to happen, and way the coaching staff hoped for it to happen. So I think over the summer they really worked hard, put together some pieces to begin this year off strong, and to make a statement in this tough Big 12.
Well, they look great. Next game is Sunday, a week from today at 1 o'clock against Mercyhurst. I'll be honest,
Oh
I've
wow, a
not done
week!
any. I have no idea who that is. Well, I
Jeez.
was a little bit, yeah, I was surprised. I was hoping that there would be a midweek game,
Yeah.
but yeah, they've got a little bit of some time here. Maybe it
Hmm.
has something to do with the travel or with the Thanksgiving holiday. I
Yeah.
really don't know, but a week from tonight, a week from this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So get out there, support the women. The crowds are starting to build. This is a really good team to watch. Um, Tickets are really priced as well. I saw some online for as little as $3. That's a really good price to get into a high quality potential Final Four women's basketball team. So get
Right.
out there and support those Lady Cyclones. On the men's side, boy, Monday night against Mississippi State, a game that was held up at the Pentagon up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Beat up on the SEC's Mississippi State. Really not much of a game for the Cyclones, coming out 96 to 80. Taman Lipsey with a career high 25 points. I was surprised by that,
Hmm.
but yet
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
surprised. Remember Taman as a freshman, really, you couldn't pay him to shoot it from the outside. He just
Mhm.
was passing it and the defense was sagging off. Well, now you got Taman shooting from the outside, scoring, and he really started that last year as well. You've got you've got some big guys coming in, Blake Buchanan from Virginia. You still have Joshua Jefferson there. You've got Momchilovich from the outside and will drive and score. You've got Heisey. This is another really talented team. Am I crazy to think that both the men and the women have Final Four potential?
Well, to your standards, you're never crazy because you pretty much say it every single time. So we're hoping for that. But we understand all of the guys are a year older. They've learned from the last couple of years and things of that nature. Like we said about Taman, we've seen him score a few times in bunches, but he's always had high shooting percentages. So it may seem like, oh, he's making a lot of baskets, but if you don't take a lot of shots, you're still not going to have a lot of points, But, for him to be getting 10 to 12 shots a game, plus is not a problem to me at all, from what he's learned and how he's controlled and ran the team since his freshman year. It's been phenomenal. And, the confidence that he has, the confidence that the coaching staff have, and we all have in him now, we're definitely looking forward to him to shooting the ball more. And the rest of the guys, what they bring to the table is something that we know is going to be dynamic for this season. Just keep our fingers crossed and pray, to the heavens that we don't have any major injuries, anything like that. We know what sports and is going to happen, but hopefully it's nothing that's going to happen that be too severe that, derail us a little bit like, what we've been going through with the football program.
Can you talk, Marcus, a little bit about Taman and his basketball IQ? He's one that he doesn't always have to score, but he can. And he's such a facilitator. He's such a tough guy on the defensive end. He just does a lot of things really well. Is he going to blow your socks off in terms of athleticism? Not necessarily in comparison to others that are on the team or others that we'll see during the season, but he just does so many things so well. He really is a total package.
Well, that's a floor general for you. If you think about guys like him and even Monte or even Jamal, point guards and stuff like that. Like we spoke about the triple double earlier, and I remember Jamal triple double we played against Missouri, and he looked like he didn't do anything spectacular during that game. And then after the game, we realized, he had a triple double, and it's like, that's what a point guard does: get you into offense, play defense, run the ball club, and it's a lot harder than what people think. It's a lot of responsibility on the point guard. As a big, I'm running the floor, getting the dunks, rebounding the ball, getting it out my hands, and running up the floor, and then worrying about what the offense is going to be after the point guard has gotten us into offense. After that segment is over, they got to get us into defense. It's just so much on the point guard. And then you got to have the stamina to do it all. You got to take care of the ball. You got to think about so much that's going on. It's definitely like the quarterback of a team that, is a lot more fast-paced than, a football game. So it's definitely a testament to, what he's done, how far he's come, and he's going to continue to make great strides for us.
Now, during the women's game today, you could clearly see on the video board statistics, and so you knew exactly where Addie Brown was in relationship to that triple double. There was a lot of cheers for Elisa Williams, to be honest with you, at the end of the game when she was able to score her final bucket to get to her double double. Was the team aware with Jamal? Were they able to see the scoreboard, or was it something that it was sort of in the locker room after the game? You're going through the stats, going, "Well, wait a minute, Jamal just had a triple double."
Damn, man, it was so long. We talking 25 years, but I don't remember what the Jumbotron looked like then. I don't think it's the one that's up there now. I really don't think it's what's up there now, because once I got to the NBA, I remember how different the Jumbotrons were. And it has all kind of stats and stuff on it where you could see those. But I think it was something. I think I saw the results and everything on ESPN. It was an ESPN game, and just to realize, like, damn, it was the most easiest triple double that you think you will ever see. But that was Jamal. That's how how he played. He wasn't anything flashy, anything like that. Just like Taman, they just run the ball club and get the dub and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. Jamal was a little flashy. He had some flash to him.
He had a little ball handling skill flash, but in terms of being flashy and quiet, we used to have to make him talk.
Well, okay, maybe verbally, but he had flash on the court. I can tell you that. So, are you surprised at all? 10 players played on Monday night against Mississippi State. Are you surprised that they're not playing one of these softer teams? I mean, we're talking about a team from the SEC. So I was a little surprised that rotationally he played so many. Are you surprised by that?
Well, not early on. I'm not. I mean, 10 is 10. Average of 7, maybe 8 players with a solid rotation. You get into foul trouble, you may, extend to as much as 9 to 10 or 11 if absolutely needed. But to bring in that many guys that early on, at least we can see a lot more of what we have and what we're going to be working with. So it wasn't a surprise at all.
All right, so the men play again tomorrow at home against the Stony Hill Skyhawks. I'm not expecting this to be too difficult of a game. Another warm-up game. The Skyhawks are 1-4 on this early season. Then the team heads your way, Marcus. They're going to play in Las Vegas the following Monday and Tuesday on True TV for those of us that will be watching that cannot make it to Las Vegas. Monday at 3:30 against St. John, so that should be an exceptional game.
Real good game.
Tuesday against Creighton.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus
That's
Weiser,
another.
will you be able to make those games?
I hadn't seen the schedule and looked and knew that they were coming out here, so I'm definitely going to look into it for sure, especially those 2 games for sure.
There's probably going to be an influx of Cardinal and Gold in Las Vegas next week.
Yeah, I have it on every single day.
So they're playing at the Michelob Ultra Arena, and there was a lot of talk early in the season with that exhibition game against Creighton, in which the Cyclones, again without Taman Lipsey, lost. And for those that could watch it, there was this whole debacle about subscribing to a Creighton network television and it wasn't functioning, and some frustrations there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also reports that maybe TJ was telling Coach McDermott, hey, here's some areas that I want you to exploit, that I want to use as a learning tool for my team. So I'll be curious to see what we see against Creighton then in that Tuesday matchup.
Well, I am too. Unless TJ said that, I don't know how true that is, because we're coming back around to play them in the regular season here shortly. So you don't want to give them something to use against you, in the weeks coming ahead. So it's going to be a very exciting game. That St. John's team is going to be a tough outing, and the Creighton team is too. We're playing against them back-to-back nights.
It looks like it when I looked at the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's going to be a really, really good test early on. Both of those ball clubs, and it's going to tell us where we stand early.
So St. John's is 2-1. They've beaten Quinnipiac. I'm not even quite certain if I've said that correctly. And William and Mary, I'm pretty certain I've said that correctly. And then have lost to Alabama in a high-scoring affair, 103-96. Creighton is also 2-1. They've beaten South Dakota, Maryland Eastern Shore, and then they were just dominated by Gonzaga. I don't know if you caught that game, but that was a big loss for Creighton.
Are either one of those teams ranked?
Last I checked, St. John's was top 15, and Creighton, I believe, was top 20, probably after that Alabama loss. So
yeah,
should be really good. Like you said, these will be some good matchups. I mean, we're talking NCAA tournament teams that we're going to be facing off against, and we get to play both back to back.
Yeah, and Josh Jefferson comes home. I know he's going to, look to really, really perform out there, even though he does every single night. But I'm looking forward to him coming home. And, a lot of the family and fans and stuff here, supporting him. I really didn't support him much in high school because he was beating my team and my son's team. But no, in all truthfulness and everything, I'm going to look forward to him coming home and having some big games. I know playing in front of the hometown crowd and things like that can really, really be nerve-wracking sometimes. I remember when we played down in New Orleans, my first time, at Iowa State, being back home, things of that nature. So hopefully he can come, settle the nerves and put out that, game that he has and get some W's.
Well, and it's a bit of homecoming for TJ too, because he coached at UNLV for
Yeah.
what, 2 years, and there's that
Mm-hmm.
rebel girl on UNLV. I'm sure I should check her out and see if she's got some comments leading up into this tournament. Hopefully, they're able to resolve their differences.
What rebel girl?
Oh, she's someone on Twitter that was talking about how TJ will flame out and just how horrible he was and how he was a poor coach and oops.
I
Obviously,
think
she
about
doesn't know what
things.
she's doing.
I was thinking about that actually earlier today or yesterday. Just how coaches have to coach now, or how they try to coach now versus like a Tim Floyd or a Larry Eustachy or a Johnny Orr type of, you talking about flame out. That's normal coaching. I mean, I remember times making baskets and, coming over to the bench and Larry chewing me out, and you thinking in your head like, that's
I
just what's
scored.
coaching. I mean, that's just coaching. Like now it's, they have to be buddy with the kids and things like that. It's just a difference. So TJ flaming out is probably, a lot of what he's learned from other coaches and hard-nosed coaches that, got him to where he's at now. And I'm sure he hasn't changed. So, the players really respond to it and they respect it, and, they go out and put a good product on the floor.
So, what is your recommendation to Joshua coming back home and playing in front of the home crowd for the first time? Do you have any thoughts? You've been there. Like you said,
Yeah.
you had to go through that and experience that
Well-
when you went back home to New Orleans area.
Well, New Orleans it's about 7 hours away from my home. Josh is from Las Vegas, so UNLV is right here, or his home is here, so it's a little bit different in terms of immediate family. Like I had some family down there at that game, but not as much as he's going to have here around here. But I'm sure there's going to be curfews and things of that nature. They're going to make sure that they're going to be professional about everything, and there's going to be status quo as normal. I'm sure they're not going to fly out after the game, so you have the opportunity to spend time with the family and visit and stuff once that's all over with. But just come here and play the way you've always played. It's just another road game. Focus on what you got to do. These are two formidable foes that we need to get these wins early and to progress on.
Do you treat this as a business trip, or do you recognize that, hey, it's before Thanksgiving break, it's Las Vegas? Do you give the kids an opportunity just to experience, you don't want them to experience too much of Las Vegas, but do you give them a
Right.
chance just to kind of see what the hubbub is and get them an opportunity to walk around? Or do you say, nope, we're here to play basketball, folks. If you want to come, you've got an off season to do that?
Well, no, it's definitely a business trip. Like there's plenty of cities and things that I went to and played in that I never even saw. Just from the fact of it just being a business decision. If we played in Miami and then the next night we had to play in Memphis, we were flying out that night, so you really didn't have a chance to discover Miami like that. It was probably a couple years in the NBA before I really got to see a lot of cities, even LA. It just doesn't line up that way if it's not lining up that way. But if you have some time after the games are over, like if we played in Orlando and then had to play in Miami, we probably would stay in Orlando, a couple nights before we went to Miami. So then you're able to, spend some time out. You may have a day off the next day, but if you got 2 games in a row, then it's all a business trip. And then once those games are over, if we have an opportunity to go out, see the city, see family and things like that, then you can do that then.
Okay. All right. This is a good time to take a break. I'm going to come back on the other side. We had just started to tease a little bit about football before we got started into basketball. I thought, just again, I'm coming off of a natural high of watching the women's game today up at Ames. So let's go back and hear a word from our sponsors. Then we'll come back on the other side and talk a little bit of football.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, I get you, instead of I tried, head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
All right, we are back to Inside the Storm. Marcus, I've got my Revelton. I am going back to the whiskey cream liqueur just because it's that time of year.
Nice.
And speaking of Styled by JJ, I don't know if you've seen on social media, but Chris Shipley is going through a style of his own, and Julia Bradshaw is helping him out to get some style in preparation for an event that he's going to for his work. So if you haven't seen that, follow him on, I believe it's on the Three Beards Media account or the Cyclone Hulk account. You can find it fairly easy and just sort of track Chris's progress with his experience.
Yeah, I saw him post something on TikTok. I even commented, because he sent me all his too big clothes, his 4X clothes. He said he's in the 2X now, so I'm getting all this. It looks real good. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, so football. Here we are, coming off of a bye week. Again, off the heels of a huge win at TCU, a game that, okay, every game I'm nervous about, but that was one that I thought was going to be a loss at the beginning of the year that felt like we answered some questions, right? Getting out of games does help, brings the team together. And boy, that defense, they looked really good.
Yeah, it was a really settled down game, focused, top to bottom, top to bottom game plan to win that one. Again, like you said, we were nervous, but at the same time, I think deep down inside, we kind of felt good about it. We kind of felt like, okay, we've been on this slide. We've lost 4 in a row, and we don't need to lose 5 in a row, however many it was about to be. But deep down inside, we were nervous, but we felt good about that. And we understand the product that we can put out on the field. We also understand the slide that we've been through and why we went through that slide. But at the same time, we're going to support. We're still going to be behind them 100%, and it was good to get that win.
And I have to apologize to you, my friend. Brent and I sat there and we sort of chuckled because you predicted a low-scoring affair. I think your score was 17-14.
17-14 is what I say, yeah.
And doggone it, you almost hit the nail on the head. It ended up being 20-17, a 3-point game. And we thought it was going to be a 40-30 type of game. So
yeah, I just knew I just know, I just know it couldn't be one of those, slinging games. It needed to be a defensive minded, because whenever we're in those defensive tight games, we always seem to pull it out in the end. We, have a outstanding quarterback that's going to move the ball good enough to make us, get into score position, to make some big plays and things of that nature. And once we have that, honed in defensive game and keep the scoring low, it, throws the opposition to kind of being off of their wits of what they really want to do. They can't understand what to do to score. So at that point, they're just surviving. And if we're two teams is just surviving, we got the guy and Coach Cameron on the sideline that's going to pull out something, out the rabbit out the hat, and we're going to come home with the win. And that's exactly what we did.
Well, the thing is, I remember it hasn't been that long ago. It was pre-Campbell, where we would go years without a road win. Now it
Yeah.
seems like we have a lot more success on the road. Now we have a lot more success, period,
Right.
but on the road as well. That they just seem to be a bit of a different team, and they do come together on the road.
Yeah. And, a lot of people because like I said, I wear some form of paraphernalia every single day, a hat or a shirt or something like that. And, there's a lot of people that recognize Iowa State, the football program, basketball program, and everything like that. So once I see people now, they speak a lot highly of Coach Campbell and what he's done with the program and how he's changed the process around and everything there. And, they even talk about Coach TJ. Man, well, we wish we could have kept him here in UNLV, but I tell him I'm glad we got him back home, running that program. So it feels good to be able to, not that I never held my head high. I chose Iowa State for a reason, and, that was a very successful, decision for me. And, I'm very proud of the organization and the program.
Now, Rocco continued to struggle a little bit. Now, he had some drops, and I'm going to, I've talked about that repeatedly, my frustration with watching a lot of those drops happen. And I think that they said during the game that Iowa State was either top 3 in the country or top 3 in the conference. I don't remember which, in terms of drops. So Rocco ended up being just 9 of 26 for 111 yards, the 2 interceptions. Carson Hansen, 100 yards rushing again. The thing is that Iowa State was down 17-6, and then boom, Aiden Flora comes back with that 79-yard touchdown. That just lit everybody up. And then the 2-point conversion. They went for 2 points at the beginning of the game, remember? And Brent and I were sitting next to each other, and he goes, "Oh, they're going for it this game. I mean, they're letting it go." And sure enough, that's what they were aggressive at times, which is good to see. We should have known that Coach Heacock on the defensive side would have something up his sleeve, and he did. They were just they did everything that they needed to do. It was another tight game, but we were talking a couple of weeks ago about 7-5 as being the ceiling. Now you can sort of see the potential to be 8-4, and with the bowl win now being 9-4, which would still be one of the top 5 most successful seasons in program history.
Right. After the season last year, like we really we put a lot on them, because it was a fun season, things of that nature. But we expect, we don't, again, like we used to say, oh man, if we can just get 5 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins to get into a bowl game. Now we expect it every single year now, because, we understand what the program is, and we expect, to have a strong showing each and every time we go out there. Now we love to win every single game. Absolutely. We know it's a lot tougher than that, a lot tougher conference than that, but we understand that what we're capable of, what the coaching staff is capable of, and these players are capable of, that's what we expect now.
So next game is Saturday, 11 o'clock kickoff against the Kansas Curveys. So Brent will be in attendance. We've got confirmation on that. We still don't know what he's going to wear. Of course, his son Malachi plays for the Jayhawks. So that should be interesting. It's also senior day. So I would encourage everyone to come early, get in your seats well before, I would say 10:30, 10:40. So when they go through the procession to acknowledge those seniors, I think it'd be really cool for Jack Trice to be as full as possible. It's probably not going to be as full. It's going to be a little cooler. We're not going to have an 80-degree day again, but should be fairly nice for November. I think that they're looking at maybe 50, 45, 50, and some sun. So it should be a fairly decent game weather-wise for that. But we do want to get out there and acknowledge those seniors for all that they've done. And the students, it is Thanksgiving break, so the students will probably not be in full force. So everything that we can do to a Cyclone Nation to get out there, we definitely want to do. And then, of course, the last game is the Saturday after Thanksgiving at Oklahoma State. So the Cyclones have a lot to play for. Did you see the 49ers play today, Marcus?
No, I was watching
The Bears.
No, I was watching the Bears. I was watching the Kansas City game, and what game was before that? The Commanders game.
Yeah, that was a good game to watch too.
Yeah. So
Brock,
no what?
Our guy Brock Purdy's back. 49ers
Is he? I didn't
win.
know.
Yeah, 41-22. He looked really good, really sharp. 19 for 26 for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 49er offense. They look pretty good under Mac Jones. They look really good under Brock Purdy. So look out. San Francisco's getting healthy, and there they are sitting there at 7-4. Defense is starting to take shape. The running game's starting to take shape. It's kind of cool to see Brock Purdy going back. He's from the Tempe area, so that's good for him to get back and play in front of family and friends as well.
Yeah, and you hear all kind of chirps and stuff like that with Jones was playing well and things, and the ESPNs and the different channels is talking about we're gonna have a quarterback controversy. I'm like, man, my guy has turf toe. It's not like he's out with ACL or something like that. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But it's like, man, it's a reason why you have good backups to come, weather the storm while the starter is out, and that's what happened. And the things they've been through the last couple of years with injuries, they had some injuries this year, and they've been able to be better. So that's a testament to Coach Shanahan and the team and how they run things there. But now that Brock is back, he's going to continue to do the things that we know he can do, and we see where the thing goes
to. Before we close out, we talked a couple of weeks ago about this whole gambling situation. Are you continuing to follow this? It looks like that the NBA is now tracking or requesting telephone records from a number of players and teams.
Well, yeah. The NBA tracking and requesting, that verbiage is a little suspect to me. If they said that FBI is subpoenaing, now that's a little bit different. Tracking or requesting a cell phone, any kind of cell phone can be given, any kind of thing can be wiped out. The NBA is not going to go. The NBA is not going to go as deep as the FBI will to figure out different information. So I don't know exactly what to make of that. It's social media is on fire because it has to do with the Lakers, and people always think LeBron is on steroids and PEDs. Like it's the most asinine thing ever, because and I tell them all the time, there's no PEDs in our league. Like, you cannot fool the drug test. You cannot fool the drug screening. It's done completely random. The people don't know who it is that they're taking the specimen from. I mean, when it's sent in, the company don't know who it's coming from. Everything is not labeled. Everything is labeled by the league and the people that are taking the specimen, but the lab don't know who it's coming from. So the people who get popped for, drugs or whatever the case may be, it's a reason why they're getting popped for it, because the test is accurate. So in terms of what's going on with this whole betting scandal and things of that nature, I think that has something to do a little bit with Damon Jones. He wasn't on the Lakers staff, but he was around LeBron. He played with LeBron, and he was, LeBron shooting coach or whatever around the team during that time. So I think they're trying to pacify the situation. Like I said, it's for it to be deeper. I would rather like the FBI to be coming out saying that they're doing something, but I think it's one of those things where it looks good in the media wise, and if something comes out of it, something does. If something don't, then they say, we did our investigation like they did early on. But we'll see what happens. I'm of the volition of if you did something wrong or bet on your sport and things of that nature, and you got caught, then you need to be suspended or kicked out the league like everyone else is. No matter who the player is, it can be LeBron, or it could be a player that's in the G League. If it's happening, it's happening.
It feels like we're still sort of early in this process.
Way early.
If you already, are we in the first quarter? Are we in the second quarter? How far are
We're-
we in this?
I would say we're in the preseason. I would say
Oh.
I would say we're in the free agency July 1st signing player. That's how early I would assume this thing is, with this whole investigation, because it's taking this long to walk down everything with Jones and Rozier. And then, like I said before, the whole thing with Chauncey Billups, I think that's a total separate thing. I think, he's in trouble for the whole, the illegality of poker games and that type stuff. I don't think
that's more or less using
Right.
your status as a
Exactly.
all-star, as a known figure
Right.
to pull people in. Right. Yeah.
to pull people in and do something that's not legal. To compare it to what's going on, and not to be insensitive, anything like that, but say like it was a dog fighting ring or something like that, but it's been, they've all been suspended. Say if it was a dog fighting ring and they were gambling on it, well, that's not the same thing as saying that I'm going to go out here and throw a game or, bet the under because I'm going to not, score so many points. So I think he's in a different realm of what's going on. I think he's going to possibly lose his job in the end of things, but I don't think he would be banned from the NBA. These other guys will definitely be banned forever. Terry Rozier will never play a game again in the NBA ever.
So if we're still in the free agency period, it feels like there's a lot more to come that we don't know about.
Possibly, I think possibly a lot of what could happen could be players that had either retired or have moved on. It's funny dynamic to even think, somebody like Terry Rozier, who has made a ton of money and was, making at least $26 million a year this year, would be doing something of that stature. But to me, it's a gambling problem. It's not a money thing. It's a gambling problem. I can understand if you're not a high, net worth individual or a high NBA salary earner for you to be gambling and, trying to sustain, life or make a living or whatever. But for someone like him to be doing it, it's completely weird. Damon Jones is, retired. He's definitely not making, even as an assistant coach, he's not making the money that he was making as a player. So, to be doing something in that realm, we know it's all alleged. So until everything comes out, we really don't know what's what, but a lot more is going to be happening. Like I said before, I personally have some close friends that know some high stature individuals that's current players that's going to be caught up in this, and there's going to be a shock over the wavelengths of the NBA and of the sports world. And when that happens, it's like I said, if you did it and you had a part of it, then that's just your fault.
Well, we're not expecting you to name that. Obviously that's up to the authorities to figure all this out. But you made a reference, totally side conversation about drug testing. So I listened to another podcast. It's No One Asked Us with Kara and Des, two runners, marathon runners, athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with how that works with Olympians and drug testing and having to be available and sending them your schedule in advance and them knocking on your door basically in this window of time that you've already provided for them. And it may be 2 a.m. and maybe 2 p.m. It could be any time. What's that like with the NBA? What's that
Well-
drug testing program like?
Well, you don't provide the schedule for the NBA. They just show up on you, and they will
Okay.
literally sit outside your house for days. I've had a guy who I we had the same agent who literally his wife and family or whatever literally fed him baby food and Pedialyte for like a week and a half just to try to clear his system up. He would not leave the house, and they literally sat outside his house for over a week and a half. And they knew he was in there, and they're not going to leave. They're
And I
going to
assume
stay
this
there.
is
But
off season, right?
this is off season.
Okay.
This is off season.
Whew.
But how it used to be years back, and when I first came to, I think my rookie year, it was like that, or maybe my second year too. But they used to test rookies on a random scale 5 times a year. So if you're a rookie, random 5 times a year. The vets get tested once in training camp. So once you pass the test that one time in training camp, unless you failed, if you failed, then you went on the random scale. If you passed, then they don't test you for the rest of the year. So that's why all these different stories about players doing cocaine and marijuana and all that different stuff, because once they pass the test in training camp, they don't have to worry about being tested anymore if they pass. Now it's random for everyone, which I feel like it should have been in the first place. So you really, really have to be clean, or once you take that test, and it's not like going to a lab core or anything like that where they go in and shit. These guys go into the stall with you, hand you the cup while you're in the stall, and stand there and watch you. It could be a female, it could be a male, it doesn't matter. They're going to watch 100%. So it's not like you're providing a different specimen. It is 100% coming out of you. Everything is marked, gets sent off, and then, the results are what the results are. So I laugh about all the stories and stuff that I see online. This is one guy in this basketball group that I'm in. I think something is wrong with him mentally, to be honest. I've never seen someone have the disdain for LeBron James as this guy, and it is absolutely ridiculous. To the extent like he's passed it down to Bronny James now. It's just so ridiculous. But every single day he's talking about LeBron and PEDs, and he's sharing needles and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, man, there's no PEDs in our league. If there's someone who's taking PEDs, they would have been found down and we would know about it.
Interesting. Well, again, more to come on the gambling, and I appreciate the information on the drug testing. Was kind of curious how that
Yeah.
works. So before we close out, you may have noticed I'm wearing a funny mustache. It is Movember, so just raising awareness for men's cancer and testicular prostate cancer. So if you've not been out there, get yourself tested. Make sure that your family members, moms, dads, brothers, sons, as guys, it's something we don't talk a lot about, but we got to get ourselves taken care of as well, so we can be around there for our loved ones. So it is November. It is Movember. I'm growing that ugly mustache, which my family absolutely hates. Well, I think my mom kind of likes it. I look like my dad did at this age. So get out there as part of Movember. And again, Cyclones play tomorrow night. That should be an interesting game to watch. And then come out to Las Vegas next week. Women's basketball play on Sunday. Men football on Saturday at 11 o'clock at Jack Trice. Let's make sure that we're packing the Jack. And again, thanks to everyone for joining us again. We appreciate our sponsors. Without this would not be possible. Again, we've got Revelton Distilling Company, styled by JJ Boutique, and our studio sponsor, Andrew Downs and AKC Marketing. So thanks to everyone, and go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.
When the team takes flight, Hilton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall. There's a cyclone brewing on the outskirts tonight. Jack Trice shakes when the team takes flight. Hilton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall. CYC.